Hello everyone, today I'm going to explain the Green Lantern movie, in which it is told that the universe of Guardians used to rule over the universe before its creation, because they had the rings generating powers. Two rings are seen including willpower and fear. Willpower had infinite power while fear belonged to terror. Because of not having control over the fear, now Guardians create the 3,600 sectors of the whole universe, and they produce the Green Lantern crops with this. At the same time, a spaceship of some astronauts crashed on that planet, and those astronauts arrive at the location where the supervillain Parallax is held captive. Then they face a risk named Parallax before them. Those astronauts begin to feel so fear seeing him. He takes the advantage of this and sucks their energy, and he is freed from that imprisonment where Green Lantern had made him captive. Then Green Lantern has seen whose name was Aben Sur. He imprisons Parallax. After at the time of 1983 is shown in the movie, where a child named Hal Jordan is seen, whose father was a pilot in the military force. His father is called to test the aircraft of the military. Hal also goes to encourage his father. Hal's father gives him his favorite jacket to Hal before getting into the aircraft. Hal considers his father a hero. He was observing his father like others and he was feeling joy. When Hal's father gets into the aircraft before him, then his aircraft's engine is bursting. Hal's father was attempting his best to hold control over his aircraft, but it was not easy for him. But he soon lands on the ground while maintaining his courage. All people move away in fear. But Hal was moving towards his father. So he may rescue his father, but the explosion occurs at the same time. Hal's father dies before his eyes. After this, the further time is shown when Hal Jordan is seen. He had grown up and he was also a test pilot at Ferris Aircraft. His company reveals to him that they have invented two robotic aircraft. Knowing this, Hal does not like this at all. Because he had this good thought that none can control the aircraft properly without pilots. Now he challenges the robotic aircraft in order to prove his saying. And he flies his aircraft with those two robotic aircraft, which are flying equally, but Hal flies his aircraft towards the peak of the sky, where Hal's aircraft engine is stopped because of the low pressure of air. And Hal is ordered by the command center to return back immediately. Ignoring all orders, Hal continues to fly ahead. Then he catches sight of his father's photo while flying the aircraft, and he recalls all the memories. Meanwhile, Hal's father aircraft's engine exploded. He turns back to have a look at it and he explodes his two robotic aircraft. His aircraft was also going to explode, but he jumps from it through a parachute at the proper time. Later, aircraft's authority, including the daughter of the CEO, Hal's childhood friend Carol, taunt Hal together, and Carol terminates Hal because of the explosion of the aircraft. After this, Parallax is shown who had been freed from his imprisonment. He reaches that Green Lantern whose name was Aben Sur. Now he leaves that place understanding the powers of Parallax. That Parallax attacks the planet of Aben Sur, moving there. That Green Lantern instantly boards his spaceship. And he leaves to inform the rest of the Guardians. That Parallax has freed. Green Lantern was going to lose his life because of Parallax's assault, but his spaceship falls at the bank of the sea on Earth. He conveys to his ring before dying, choose your favorite boldest man. Now Ring moves in search of the capable man. Contrarily, Hal is celebrating his younger brother's birthday with his other siblings. That Ring's power is transferred into Hal at the same place. Being unaware of the whole incident, Hal leaves, gifting his younger brother. The green light of the ring brings Hal to Aben Sur. Hal wanted to help Aben Sur CT his spaceship. Hal brings him out of his spaceship, rescuing him there. But Aben stops Hal there and gives him a ring. He tells him while indicating Green Lantern. When he will take this ring and speaks before it, then it will add power to him. Saying this, Aben loses his life there. Now, Hal gets worried hearing all these facts, and he calls his friend worker of aircraft here. And he reveals the whole fact. Then they see the military aircraft, which were searching for an Eastern London spaceship. Hal drives away along with his friend by car. Military force discovers the dead body of Aben after him. They send his dead body to a secret government facility for research. There is a lady doctor who is seen where a scientist named Hector was also with her. They both had been called for conducting research on the dead body of Aben. When Hector was inspecting the dead body of Aben, Then he puts his hand on a salted place body where Parallax had attacked. Pouring his hand at that place, Parallax's little powers are dissolved in Hector. But Hector was ignorant about all these facts. He continues to inspect the body. On the other side, Hal is seen. He was speaking before that lantern at his home wearing that ring. But nothing was affecting, so Hal loses his temper on this. And he says to himself, why did he come here so far if it is not going to work? A lantern is ignited on this. Its green light is turned on. Hal is hypnotized and he himself begins to talk about the powers. After this, Hal possesses the Green Lantern powers. Now this news has reached the planet of the Green Lantern. Green Lantern's people drag Hal towards them. Going there, Hal loses his consciousness. Afterward, research is conducted on him. Because he was the human being to be Green Lantern. Now everyone wanted to know this. Why had he been chosen as a Green Lantern? Hal is in the suit of Green Lantern when he comes to his senses. He also meets Green Lantern. There has the look of fish. He reveals the whole story to Hal there. He tells it that Parallax wants to devastate the Earth and universe. Now he leads him to Green Lantern, where Green Lantern's chief is delivering a speech there. Green Lantern's chief considers Hal weak. He leads Hal to the potent Green Lantern to check his power. That Green Lantern trains Hal and also tells him that anything will happen what he thinks with the power of the ring. He also tells with this, the sun will attract the man who will be big-sized. Green Lantern's chief also fights with Hal there and beats him badly. And he decides this he will leave them all. On the other side, Hector is seen as who had possessed Parallax's powers. He gets the power to read the mind of the people. Now he is teasing the people. And the changing which was occurring in Hector, he had also kept an eye on them. Green Lantern's chief takes other Green Lanterns to kill Parallax as Hal leaves. But Parallax snatches the powers of all there before him using his powers. And he kills all of them. In the meantime, Green Lantern's chief flees. And he complains about Parallax coming to his guardians. That he is more powerful than them. Guardians tell him this. It was tough to get the fear rings. But that Parallax had attained that ring from one of those guardians. He had transformed into a supervillain as a result of this and he had imprisoned him. Now he had again come back to revenge. Then Green Lantern's chief declares that we will have to make the fear ring to cope with the fear. Now Guardians agree with him. And they also make one more ring of fear. It is seen further that aircraft company gets their favorite contract. And the party is arranged for its celebration. Hal and Hector were also at that party. Hector reaches there when Hal is talking with Carol, and he tries to inspire Carol to come there. At the same time, Hector's father stops him from aching there, and Hector leaves the party in fury. His anger is increased here, when he comes to know that it was not his capability that made him hold that project, but because of his father. Now, Hector was becoming so aggressive here. When he glimpses a helicopter flying towards the party, then he also controls that helicopter to crash it with his power. That helicopter was going to crash on the people there. Due to this, intense fear is created among all people. But Hal is transformed into Green Lantern there. And he lands that helicopter on the ground, converting it into a car. All are rescued here, but Green Lantern's existence becomes prominent. Now, Parallax contacts Hector for the first time here and he orders him to kill Green Lantern, who is on Earth. Now Hector's face was transforming here gradually. He is caught on this and he is kept in a laboratory. On the other side, Hal goes to meet Carol, transforming into Green Lantern, and Carol recognizes Hal here. And he tells that he has left the Green Lantern unit. Knowing this, Carol says to him, "You had to take the advantage of this opportunity, nor do you have to leave this." She becomes furious about this. Hal goes outside, thinking of Carol's suggestions. Then Hal's ring is brightened. He knows through this that someone is in danger. Detecting it, he goes to the laboratory where Hector was attacking his father. Hector knew everything about Hal, that he is Green Lantern. Being envious, he fights with Hal there. Then, Hector contacts Parallax, and he orders him to destroy the world. Hector burns his father to death with flames. And he also tries to kill that lady doctor, but Hal saves her. The fight is held between both of them. On the other side, Green Lantern's planet is seen, where the fear ring had been created. And Green Lantern's leader was ready to face Parallax. Meanwhile, Hal comes there and he stops him from using the fear ring, because that man will be transformed into evil who will use this ring. And he asks all of them to save the planet Earth. But the Guardian and Green Lantern's leader refuse to help him. Now, Hal goes alone to save the world. Now he directly comes to the place of aircraft where Hector had abducted Carol. Because he knew that Hector had feelings for Carol. And Carol is the weakest point of Hal, that he may give him that green ring. Otherwise he will pour his blood into Carol. As a result she will be transformed like him. On this, Hal takes off his ring and gives it to Hector. Wearing that ring, he says to Hal that he was telling a lie, that he will let go of Carol. Then he begins to kill. When he attacks her with that ring, then that attack is stopped. Then, Hal tells him this ring searches for the capable man itself, and this attack is reversed on Hector. Hal rescues Carol now, and he picks up his ring. Then, Parallax had approached on the planet Earth. Because he was grabbing the energies of others, he had grown more powerful. And he also considers Hector useless there and snatches his power. After this, Hector also dies. After this, Hal comes to confront Parallax. But a great fight is held between them. Hal is getting defeated by Parallax during this fight. But Parallax goes into Hal now and carries him far in space from this world. Then he recalls the same fact going there. The sun attracts the bigger thing. And he takes Parallax to the sun from his backside. Converting himself into aircraft, Hal begins to fly from there. Parallax was still not stopping to chase him, and he was also fighting. Hal applies all his powers here on Parallax. And he throws him towards the direction of the sun. He had also become feeble, so he also begins to attract the sun. But Green Lanterns save him. Approaching there, they admire him and transport him to their world, where he assumes the position of leader. Coming into the world, he meets with Carol and starts a relationship with her. It is shown movie's short clip that the ex-leader of Green Lanterns named Smestero. He takes off his Green Lantern's ring and puts on the ring of the Guardian. Doing so, his eyes are turned pale. And he gains the power of fear. And the movie completes this scene. If you like the explanation, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.